KREM 2 Morning News begins now.
Breaking news this morning out of North Spokane. Take a look at this video. A massive garage fire broke out near the Northtown Mall on East Queen Street overnight. A neighbor shared this video with us. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is on scene now. Nicole, good morning. What are you seeing now?
Good morning. Yeah, right behind me is the corner property that actually caught fire this morning. The call came in around 2:44. So as you can see, there's the garage that caught fire first, and then the fire kind of moved into the shed, which is now completely gone, which brought the fire over to the back of the house. Now neighbors say that they woke up just before 3 p.m. to loud booms that sounded like fireworks, and it wasn't until they went to their window that they realized that it was something bad. It was a fire. They said that they could actually feel the heat from their window. That's how intense this fire was, all the way from across the street.
Started hearing more like explosive gunshot type sounds, and I was like, something's totally wrong. So I got out of my bed and I went to our window, and outside the window I saw our neighbor's garage completely engulfed in flames, and I could actually feel the heat coming through the window.
Now, we don't know the cause of the fire yet, but obviously the owners are devastated. Luckily for this situation, everybody is safe. All of the people were able to get out, and all of the animals in the house were able to get out. Now, the kitchen was burned in the back of the house, but neighbors say that the family has a place to go. They have family in the area. Another thing that behind the garage of the house where the fire started, the neighbor's garage is actually burned a little bit, but most of the fire stayed contained to this corner property. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Nicole. Good to hear that everyone got out okay and no one is harmed. Of course, we'll be continuing to track this breaking news here and on our website at krem.com. Shifting gears now, hopefully maybe some rain could do some help, but I don't know, are we expecting any?
I mean, we saw a lot of that wet weather pass through mainly
Right.
Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday and yesterday. Now as we head into Friday, we're moving toward a drier trend. Of course, that is good news for all the Hoop Fest people coming in. A lot of visitors for this weekend. So of course,
welcome to everyone here in town
right?
this
Welcome
weekend.
to Spokane, and the weather's going to be showing off for you, especially by the time we get to Sunday.
Yeah.
So take a look outside as we start off our day. We're making it look like a pretty nice Friday morning, although temperatures are chilly to start off the day. So skies are a lot clearer than they were yesterday, and for that reason, we see a lot more of a cooling trend overnight. We're going to start to see those temperatures climb right back up once again, but not before we kind of stick to the upper 40s and 50s for a few hours. It's not really until about 10 a.m. that we hit the 60s. We'll make it to the 70s this afternoon, but only briefly, as opposed to yesterday where we were resting just shy of that 70-degree marker. Now, partly cloudy skies are going to be the case for you today. There are still a few mountain showers that are going to be passing through, especially around Okanagan County, through the Cascades, and around North Idaho. We could encounter some scattered showers into this afternoon, even the possibility of a quick-moving thunderstorm as well. But in general, the weekend forecast, main points for this are 78 degrees on our Saturday, 83 on Sunday. Skies are still continuing to clear out, so by Saturday, we'll still have some lingering clouds. Sunday, we're looking toward mostly sunny conditions. Mostly the showers that we're going to be seeing on Saturday are going to be isolated to those higher elevations, and Sunday we see those temperatures climb, drier and clearer conditions continue to move towards us. Outside right now, though, you really can't ask for a more beautiful start to our morning. It's summer, and temperatures are going to begin to look like that as we head toward about your Sunday. Today, still staying in the below average range. Right now, we're at 48 degrees outside, so a bit chilly, but we're going to keep warming up as the day goes on. Luckily, winds this morning are generally calm. Coming up in just a bit, we'll be going through all that Hoop Fest forecast hour by hour. We're also going to be talking about if we see any return to the rain in the 7-day forecast. Amanda?
All right, looking forward to it, Evan. Thank you. Here's what you need to know before heading out the door. An update on a local story we brought to you at the beginning of this month. We shared a story about a neighborhood lemonade stand that proved to be extremely profitable for a Post Falls family and their diabetic son. They were trying to get their son a diabetic alert dog that would be trained to detect when his blood sugar levels changed drastically. The problem was an alert dog is expensive. So someone saw a post about the little boy's need and wrote a check for the whole amount. He will now be able to get his dog. Now, the quarterfinals mega showdown between the U.S. and World Cup host France is happening today. This is the biggest game of the tournament and the U.S.'s biggest competitor so far. France's core of their team is immensely talented and strong. But France has not been able to advance past the quarterfinal round of the last 4 major tournaments it has seen in action. Good luck to the U.S. women's national team. Now, Boeing said it expects to finish work on updating flight control software for the 737 MAX in September, a sign that the troubled jet likely won't be flying until late this year. This comes a day after the disclosure that government test pilots found a new technology flaw in the plane during a test on a flight simulator. The plane has been grounded since mid-March after 2 crashes that killed 346 people. The Senate will meet early today to vote on an amendment requiring President Trump to seek congressional approval before ordering military strikes. The amendment is not expected to get the 60 votes necessary to pass. It was put into place by Democrats to get lawmakers on the record on the issue amid rising tensions with Iran. The vote is expected to be held open for most of the day and into the afternoon. Time now 5:06. Democratic divisions over race, age, and ideology surged into public view last night in part 2 of the 2020 Democratic presidential candidate debate in Miami. Night 2 of the debate proved to be more fiery over who is best positioned to take on President Donald Trump. The showdown featured 4 of the 5 strongest Democratic candidates, according to early polls. Those are former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Pete Buttigieg of India, and California Senator Kamala Harris. The level of diversity on display was unprecedented for a major political party in the United States. The field features 6 women, 2 African Americans, 1 Asian American, and 2 men under 40, one of them openly gay. 20 Democratic candidates were on stage for 2 nights in Miami, marking the first debates of the 2020 election season. Now, candidates made many claims from night 2 regarding immigration, gun rights, race, and more. But are those claims accurate? Our verified team looked into those claims.
Debate night 2, 10 more candidates on stage for 2 hours. Now that's a lot of claims. Make sure you check our website for an in-depth look at the candidates. But to save some time here, we're only addressing a claim from the top 3 candidates in the polls. Now Thursday, that was former VP Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Kamala Harris. Biden up first, talking about climate change.
I would immediately join the Paris climate accord. I would up the ante in that accord, which it calls for, because we make up 15% of the problem.
The numbers vary slightly, but when talking about the U.S. contribution to worldwide emissions, Biden is right. A report from the Global Carbon Project shows the U.S. is responsible for 15% of all worldwide emissions. And a separate report by the World Resource Institute shows the U.S. responsible for 16% of greenhouse gas emissions since 1990. So claim verified. The U.S. is responsible for about 15% of emissions worldwide. Next, Bernie Sanders talking about the wealth gap in the U.S.
You have 3 people in this country owning more wealth than the bottom half of America.
This is true when you're talking about net worth. A study by the Institute for Policy Studies compared the net worths of Fortune 400 CEOs to the estimated worth of the total U.S. population. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett had a combined net worth of nearly $350 billion. The bottom half of the U.S. came out to a net worth of about $250 billion. So yeah, when comparing net worth, 3 people do have more wealth than the bottom half of the American public. Verified. Finally, Senator Kamala Harris talking about Biden's past record.
And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
This is true, but it needs a little context. In the early 70s, as a freshman senator, Biden had some warring views. He was anti-segregation, but also voted against legislation that would bus students from different districts to different schools to force integration. In 74, he said, quote, "I have become convinced that busing is a bankrupt concept." We can verify he did vote against busing programs. He now claims it was a state issue, not a federal one. Again, folks, a lot of claims Thursday. Some true, some false, some a bit of both. So make sure you check our website for a more full write-up. And if there's a question you want us to check out, send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
I do not want to be in this world without Lauren, but being stuck here, I have no choice but to try to make this world better. Towards that end, Jill and I are committed to improve campus safety.
The family of a Pullman native and University of Utah student who was murdered on campus in October is suing the university. Lauren Mikulski's parents claim the school failed to protect their daughter after she called campus police more than 20 times to report her ex-boyfriend's behavior. They say campus police ignored those reports. The complaint claims the university also failed to acknowledge they could have helped prevent her death. More than a week before her death, Lauren reported to police her ex-boyfriend was harassing her. He demanded money in exchange for not posting compromising photos of her online. Police investigated, but they never checked him against state records where they could have discovered he was a parolee. Lauren's mom said on Twitter the university, quote, never took responsibility for their failures that resulted in Lauren's murder. The family says they filed the lawsuit to effect positive change. They're suing the school for $56 million. Lauren's mom says all of that money would go to the Lauren Mikulski Foundation, which supports campus safety, student athletes, and animal welfare. Police say Lauren's ex-boyfriend took his own life after killing her. Time now, 5:11. With only one day to Hoop Fest tip-off, there are important things you should know so you can properly navigate through this 3-on-3 tournament weekend. And 50 years ago today, a riot broke out at the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in New York City's Greenwich Village. On June 28, 1969, the LGBTQ community finally took a stand, fighting back against police who routinely raided the Greenwich Village bar. The events of that night have been described as the birth of the LGBTQ rights movement.